Actually, I was not paying attention.
It's so fucking wrong.
I don't remember.
So guys,
But clearly DC is completely wrong in the matter.
No. Motley's wrong. I'm the right.
Let's find out. Let's just let Bran roll with it and see what happens.
It's already
we're
live.
going right now.
I know. That's what I'm
Episode
saying.
26. Let's do the intro.
It wakes me right up every time. Even from my power nap.
Can't go wrong with that intro, right? The music is invigorating, makes you want to get up and get some work done, so definitely shout out to Markable and everyone else that contributed on that.
Dude, definitely.
Yes,
Really good job. Really
Okay.
good job. Yeah, how's it going with it? How's it going, Bran? DC? I mean, how's your starts of the weeks going?
Fantastic.
Doing pretty good, man. No complaints, kind of just hanging, just watching the crypto markets and kind of just doing my strategy for, say, the pulse chain and stuff like that. But yeah, sitting pretty comfortable and kind of just, like I said, just seeing the rest of the market and seeing how they're reacting. How about you guys?
Wow,
DC,
you guys.
wanna go?
I'll go.
DC's gonna break the ice. He'll go.
I'm very sleepy.
He just said Bran in DC, so I was waiting on DC to finish.
No, so yeah, my mic was muted. Amazing. So I'm pretty sleepy. I've been sleepy this whole time. Pulse Chain's been in the sacrifice phase chamber, and full on fucking insomnia.
Yeah, it's true.
It's rough. It's rough, dude. I've now hit the point where I don't even have the motivation to go to the gym anymore. I tried twice. I went to the gym and just did the most bitch boy workouts of all time. It's terrible.
My gym is trying to charge me $75 because I didn't wipe down one of my benches in COVID.
What?
So I told them they
Holy
can go.
shit.
I said that you can go ahead and send me a cancellation form, and I already reported them to the Better Business Bureau. Told them to send me my contract and show me where they can charge me at whatever they want. They sent me the contract, read the whole thing. Literally, there's nothing in that contract that gives them the right to just essentially charge me 2 months rent for some bullshit like that. It's not in the contract. They're like, well, we posted signs. I was like, yeah, but it doesn't say anywhere in your contract that you can charge me for anything other than my membership. It even says in there, if you violate the policies, which it's just a policy they stuck up on the fucking thing. If you violate a policy, they can suspend you, but they can't charge you anything extra. They can suspend you until they deem justifiable. So I was just like, yeah, I already reported it to my bank as fraud and filed a complaint to the Better Business Bureau because they kept trying to stick to it. I was like, well, fuck you guys. Shit pissed me off.
It's definitely, that is 100% not legal at
all.
all.
I was like, hey, fuckers, how about just a one warning? One warning, I'll wipe down every machine instead of just trying to milk me for $75. So I was like, get the fuck out of here. It's like, yeah, I'll go ahead and just cancel my membership.
You guys just make sure and follow the CDC rules, you guys, and guidelines. Just make sure the CDC is right on everything. The government's right. Just follow the protocol. Motley, just pay the $750.
Scam.
Now.
You are scam, sir. You are scam. Yeah.
Oh, I like that necklace. Damn, Brandon didn't check. I didn't see that. That's cool.
He's had that one.
Dude, I've had this one for a minute. I've actually, I got a new pulse chain one on the way, and I think it's as small as the last one. So I think it's half the size as this one, but you never know. I mean, what's that?
No, you're good. I need to go grab mine.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's cool. I've never been a big brand guy. Back in the day, it used to be Jordan and Nike, when I was a lot younger, in 7th, 8th grade. But now it's didn't really care about logos until Richard Hart came out with, Hex and Pulse and all this stuff. And then it's all right, I guess this represents something different than just like a logo or like a swoosh, you know. So, but yeah, man, definitely nice to represent, you know, crypto and the kind of space as a whole and whatnot. And how about you guys? You guys doing pretty good with the sacrifice and kind of just crypto as a whole? I mean, I know we've got like the you know, possible Bitcoin. What is it, like the bull trap, something like that, like the 40,000? And what are you guys thinking about that?
Yeah. Well, so so where the market is right now, I mean, the only data point that exists is just the historical charts on Bitcoin. So if you go off the historical charts, it would suggest the move based off previous trends could it's more leaning towards bull trap, but that doesn't necessarily mean it has to play out the same way. Like right now, I would say the market's pretty sentiment is pretty divided. I don't really think it's necessarily biased towards one side. Like you'll get basically bullish or bearish sentiment depending on what the direction of the market is. That'll skew, I think, kind of the reality as far as what everybody's thinking. But I would say right now, just in general, the market itself is confused. We don't know if this is a bull trap or a bear trap, and we're not going to find out until I would say at least another, in my opinion, 2 months. Because right now the price is still below the 20-week moving average, and one thing at a time. Like it has to close on that 20-week moving average as support, and then hold it as support. So that's not going to be a question that gets answered in the very near future. I would say, if anything, if you're really worried as far as like, you know, what the market's doing, then you probably have too much of your capital exposed, to be honest. Because even a lot of the guys like on this panel are holding their close for. No, I'm serious. Like a lot of people, like if somebody's really worried about like the direction of the market, then you simply just have too much of your, like, you shouldn't necessarily have access to that capital first off for at least a year, in my opinion. So if you're putting money into this market, like it really should be a multi-year plan. And if you need access to that capital in, you know, 2 to 3 months to pay for living expenses, you have too much money in the market, period. That's just how it is. So, and those that manage the capital, like, even if it does end up being whatever direction the market ends up taking, it's going to work out for people that don't have the mental trauma or psychology of just putting too much into the market. So, but yeah, we'll see in a couple months. Right now we're in the bull move, and we'll see where it takes us, at least by the end of the summer.
Yeah, I honestly haven't been paying attention to it too much. Just been focused on Pulse Chain because I mean I pretty much made up my mind beforehand. Like this is where I was going to make my money for the next month or so. So it's literally, I mean, you guys already know. Yeah. This has literally been our focus every night. So like, I mean, we meet up, we reconvene, we discuss strategies, we go over stuff. I mean, pretty much all sacked now, but at the same time, it's just it's next move. It's actually like building stuff. I know a lot of us are actually looking to build stuff on Pulse Chain. So that's going to be, to me, that's kind of cool because that kind of like, for me personally, and I think for a lot of us, it just kind of like completes our crypto journey because we pretty much have done it all at this point, from mining to trading to delving in the market to literally just building our own tokens, our own smart contracts, just actually building on a blockchain and doing our own stuff now. So I'm looking forward to that last kind of leg of my crypto journey, is actually building something now. It's kind of like Richard said, the last part, holders and founders are what get rich. So give the last part a little bit of a try, see how it goes.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah.
And now I'm drinking caffeine at freaking late at night because I'm not awake yet.
Nice.
Not good. I got drugs to counteract it though, so I can hopefully trank my ass afterwards.
Motley with drugs? No.
Prescribed.
Okay, good.
Yeah, doctor said it was okay for me to drug myself.
Yeah.
I mean, but you know. I mean, I've had a little theory why like the price of BTC is going up right now. Partially, I originally thought it had something to do with like EIP 1559, which I still think that there's going to be a bit of a ramp up on that anyway, just because people always fucking FOMO in the last second, always.
Yeah,
but
Ethereum started moving. Sorry, go ahead. I was just Ethereum started moving today, so you're not wrong on that. Sorry, continue.
I'm never wrong. So, no, I'm just Can you imagine I was that much of an asshole?
Well, no, it's like the move. Sometimes Ethereum lags a little bit, but it's moved like 8% today. So there's going to be people talking about EIP for sure.
This is almost perfect. With so there's a big thing that actually a lot of people like. I know a lot of the Hexicans don't really shitcoin trade or kind of have anything on any exchanges other than mostly using Uniswap or Matcha or something like that. But quite a lot of the traders are actually very mad today and been mad for the past couple of days because Binance pretty much lowered down their withdrawal requirements in order for you
I heard about that. Yeah,
you have to be fully KYC'd out. So if you don't have a non-KYC'd account, you can only withdraw like 0.13% of a BTC out of your account a day. So what I think is going on is a lot of people are essentially selling off their altcoins into either BTC or ETH and then moving it off the exchange. So there's a ton of money starting to move from alts into BTC and ETH. So I'm really what I'm watching right now is probably the Bitcoin dominance chart right now. If we're watching anything, because like I think it's going to start trending upwards because that money has to go somewhere. And if it's pooling mostly in BTC and then ETH starts really ramping up, you could probably see a lot of BTC money going into ETH. Yep.
I know Richard had talked about that for like the non-KYC, it was like a 33 times reduction in the funds that you can transfer. So it's a very good point that you mentioned. I mean, when that happens kind of like out of the blue, people definitely don't expect it. So like you mentioned, now they got to accommodate.
Damn, sorry, I just got an alert on my phone that ETH is up 6%.
Yeah.
Nice.
The premium, I'm looking at the premiums right now for Grayscale, Bitcoin, and Ethereum, and they're about, so they were trading at minus 10% for a while, and then today so Ethereum, the ETH ticker is around -7 to -8% on the premium, and then GBTC's around -5.5%. So there's definitely been some buying for sure, like that is going into that GBTC since it's still you get a little more of a discount right now, even at the -5%.
Right. Actually, one person that was actually but was pretty right on his prediction of what's going on in the market, other than Richard, was actually Alex Mashinsky, because he was like, I think he was like the only person that I saw that was talking about the discount on the GBTC and stuff, how it and how it's kind of negative for the price, basically, that as well as like Coinbase, a lot of the money that should have been going into buying BTC went into the Coinbase IPO. So
isn't that kind of crazy though? Because to me that just seems like common sense. When you have Bitcoin on a discount like that, especially for like the larger players, like why wouldn't that be a damper on the Bitcoin price?
Yeah.
What, for who? For Alex Mashinsky?
For anyone, for mainly a lot.
Almost no one was saying it at all at the time. I mean, now it looks really apparent now because it's kind of like you're looking back at it with like it's like hindsight's 2020 sort of thing. But during when it was happening, it was kind of like nobody knew, no one really knew what the kind of was going on at the time.
It's true, and usually the bigger players, they also have that. So what Motley's saying makes complete sense for the bigger players entering the market. Though those same players also have better access to information. So much like we're all in this panel together talking crypto, they're in a StreamYard too, in private calls and stuff, talking about GBTC premium with like Mike Saylor, his friends, other billionaires. So as far as like getting access to that kind of stuff, like the retail side basically has to like speculate on it, what they're gonna do before the moves actually end up happening. It's kind of like the ladder of economic mass, basically. Like generally the same tier of money tends to like talk to the same people, so they it just ends up becoming like it's just kind of a natural thing, I guess, when it comes to wealth and money. So those guys are talking to you, but the premiums are still negative, and I still expect the move is going to take. It's going to take basically a while to get a good answer, because if you just go off the historical trends, it still is suggesting it could very much be a bull trap. Like we've seen these multiple times on the, I would say the closest fractal, if you want to look at Bitcoin price chart, look at the 3-day chart on Bitcoin from the 2014 bear market. It's so far the same fractal is in play, but again, like fractals don't necessarily mean one-to-one. It's just a reference point and just a way for you to assess what the downside risk is, because the downside risk at these levels is probably about it's probably about like 50% on Bitcoin and 70% on altcoins. So that's the risk, that's the risks that you take. And if that's a problem for you, then you have too much money in the market. That's just what it is. You should not be trying to trade around these downside moves, because at some point, if you're holding coins, Hexicans have had to go through this multiple times. They went through 70 to 80% dips on multiple occasions. If you're putting in capital, all of it at one time, then you statistically are going to have to go through one of these at some point. There's no way around it.
Don't get caught with your britches down.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Or you're gonna be holding them down for a while.
Mm-hmm. Britches get stitches? I don't know.
What's that?
I don't know. I mean, shit. I mean, dude, what you been doing, man? With like Pulse Chain, have you like sacrificed your stuff already, or like what's how you been doing this? Because I know you were kind of dollar cost averaging into it, right?
Yeah, so initially that was going to be the plan. I kind of did like a 50% within like the first 1 to 5 days, and then ended up aggregating a small amount for the second half that I was going to sacrifice. And yeah, I mean, pretty much got all of it in. I mean, I've got about the 1/3 that I did want to keep liquid, and then, got that 2/3 sacrifice. So like, I look at the pulselead.xyz, and sure, it's not perfect, right? It doesn't have all of the pairs there, and doesn't have the Bitcoin and Litecoin and Dogecoin, things like that. But I look at the number that I'm at and the rank and the amount of pulse, and it's like, okay, like this is decent. This is decent. It's definitely a lot more than what I came into when I first got into Hex. It was with Hex, it was like a few thousand, and with this, it's like significantly more than that. And it's like, okay, if a few thousand, after 1,000x can become a few million, something like that, like what could significantly more money become after another 1,000x, So it's kind of just playing it all by ear, and also still having like the risk management strategy and stuff like that. But yeah, doing pretty good, How about you guys?
It's all gone. It's all gone, Brad. It's all gone.
Yeah.
I was very happy with our position. So happy. I made a meme out of it, and we got bumped down today. So it was sad. It was very sad. So I just fired off the meme for fun, and then we'll just have to go with the new number we got bumped to is more of a lucky number. So I guess I'll just have to accept that for now.
We're down to 69.
Yeah, bro, 69.
Oh no.
No, we did better than that. Damn it.
It's the number.
But yeah, it's been. I'm kind of glad to finally have gotten it all sacked off, because it was a lot of just like, because like we had been reconvening like every night, so it was a lot. And I mean, we more or less did the same strategy, about 50% within the first 5 days, and then dollar cost over the next couple days after that, and then finally just fired off the rest of it, because after a couple of 5% days, it really eats into your stack, even if you have a larger stack. So we pretty much saw. I know a lot of people are still anticipating a pump or potential pump at the end, but I mean, from what we've seen so far, it looks like most of the whales that want to actually enter or have entered, they have their positions. Unless they want to jockey for new positions, there's not much sense for them to pump their competition's bags right now. So I don't really foresee us pumping until we finish with the sack phase. After the sack phase, next big milestone becomes the snapshot. I think we start doing a slow climb as we wait for Pulse Chain to launch, and people are just going to start accruing Hex for the snapshot. I think that's when you start seeing your pump. But during the sack phase, I really don't see it. You might have some smaller players to like small to medium size, like whale. I don't even want to say whales, but just small to medium sized players that might pump it up a little bit. But for the most part, I think we're going to stay around anywhere between like 12 and 14 cents for the rest of the sack phase.
Yeah, that seems about right. So does look like, I mean, Richard did say it like, hey, earlier is better, and then hey,
he's always
earlier
fucking right.
earlier is better. So yeah, the day ones, or was it the day twos? I forget.
It was like one. I think day 1 and 2 were both did pretty well.
So, but so far we're still. Let me pull up the countdown here, because I'm not. How close are we to the last?
So we're 2 hours away from us going into the last volume day.
Okay.
So we're coming up on day 4 in 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 23 seconds. After that, another cool feature, if you guys haven't checked it out, pulselead.xyz, they actually added a calculator to give you a rough idea of what your points are going to be per sacrifice that you did, like per entry that you made into the pool. So you guys can actually start estimating, go ahead and easily just adding up your points, and then you can see roughly how much pulse tokens you have. Obviously that'll change. You still need to add in your multiplier, take an estimate on your multiplier, but for the most part, your points are calculated now. So that was a cool.
I'll share the screen, just so everyone can see what Motley's talking about. So yeah, estimated sacrifice points, and obviously nothing is set in stone per se, but yeah, to his point,
estimated TWAP and stuff that you got in on
TWAP.
TWAP.
Yeah, I think this website is nice, right? It's been cool to see the upgrades as we've gone on, and it's nice to just put your address right in there and kind of see where you align with everyone else. And like I mentioned, keep in mind it's not including the Bitcoin, the Litecoin, Monero, Dogecoin, stuff like that. So there's still a handful of things that it's not contributed with, but it's at least nice to see a generality, because like I said, I mean, if you can be in like if you can get like a decent position now and we're starting out at a zero value, then, pretty much you can only go up from there.
So DC, did you do it? The people want to know.
Do what?
Litecoin was an option during this. Did you do it?
No, not Litecoin. I sold that into Hex.
Okay. You still had the bag?
Yeah, I still have a pretty decent bag.
Well, it's pretty funny, because what he means by that is, well, he first off, it didn't benefit Litecoin holders since he dumped it.
Yeah, he's definitely dumping whatever the fuck he got outside of Hex.
So his sacrifice actually didn't help out the price of Litecoin. He's like,
I feel like I'm being body shamed right now.
No, it's just really funny.
It's not buy shame, bro. It's just
really
you had an opportunity. Richard knew that you had a big bag of Litecoin. He's like, you know what? I'm going to help out DC. I'm going to give him a chance for bigger and better gains to move on past fucking Charlie and come over to the brighter side of crypto. And he gave you a shot.
Well, it's pretty funny, because I have not looked at Charlie Lee's Twitter in probably like
ever,
over a year.
Forever.
Does he even tweet anymore? I feel like if I was that dude, I would just like disappear into the ether. Yeah. He's kind of I think he mostly just retweets things, but I mean, I think he has like over 1 million followers, and like if there was a ratio, it's so like what he did is bad. The ratio is probably god awful, isn't it? Yeah.
Just obviously, yeah.
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 Yep. He doesn't have many internet friends.
Well, no, it's just that he ended up just like he totally abandoned.
He fucked over his community.
He totally fucked them over so bad.
Yeah.
Like let's actually. Dude. Yeah, it's a very. Sorry, go ahead, Brian.
Oh, I was a major Litecoin holder at the time, and it's easy to.
Comes out.
Dude, yeah, that was like the first one.
DC wasn't the only one.
$30. No, dude, yeah, I've told the story a couple times, but like, it's so easy to buy at 30, have it go to 420, and be like, such a genius in a bull market, and then as the the thing started to happen, the selling of the top and the promise of, confidential transactions and stuff like that, it's almost like that Stockholm syndrome where you're like, yeah, we're not in a bear market, and it's like, another leg down and another leg down. And anyways, I'm happy that I have learned through the bear market of the cycle, so I could learn how to optimize, the bear market of ETH and be able to get into, Hex at 1.8 million per ETH, and be able to get in at the very bottom to see what the opportunity was. But the difference is like one of them is like false promises, and then the other one is like, hey, no expectations, but here's what you're going to get if you happen to put an ETH on this day, in the adoption amplifier. So yeah, a lot of people learn the same thing. I mean, Motley can probably attest with people that go into like real estate, but it seems that a lot of people at the beginning, whether it's real estate or other assets, tend to buy like the top and then, learn as they kind of average in.
I never bought the top. What are you talking about?
That's the whole thing. Like even for
He's like, I'm a bottom.
even for
I buy that bottom hard. Don't touch that top.
Because I'm pretty sure during the entire bear market, so Charlie Lee. So first off, he used his community as a liquidity pool. Let's just say what it is.
That's a savage way to put it.
Yeah,
100% accurate.
And then during the bear market, so to even fund the dev for Mimblewimble, it took him like 7 fucking months to fund like $70K. And like Charlie Lee was just being very like, he's like, oh, I'll pay for half of it. I'll do a match. So basically takes all the economic energy from his community and then just gives back like
all of it.
Yeah. So it's just bad. Yeah. The whole thing around it. I mean, it just sucks for Litecoin, like literally for holders that went like all into the Litecoin basically, because there's a lot of them. There actually is there's a lot of people in that community.
Yeah, I'm watching a video he retweeted recently. It's like the Litecoin guy or something, and it's about these two guys getting all hyped up. I guess there's a Litecoin credit card as well, and they put it on their Apple Pay, and they're so excited. They're like giggling like schoolgirls as they go into Starbucks and buy a coffee with Litecoin, I guess, on Apple Pay. I was just like, oh my god, this is really bad.
Well, I mean, like Motley mentions, I mean, when I was in the community around 2017, 2018, like, you would think that was almost like a pumpamental, even though it's the opposite. It's like, oh, this is selling pressure, but because, we can spend it, we think it's, such a great thing. And that's why I was a huge fan of when Hex came out, when Richard started like speaking profusely against some of the other cryptos. It's like, he pretty much had like 0 fucks to give and was like, hey, this is how it is, And so when he mentioned that like transactions and being like a payment layer is not necessarily the most, best dollar gain in terms of store value.
Awful. That's why it took Bitcoin like 4 or 5 narratives to go through before it finally settled on store value.
Yeah.
Turns out that's the only thing that really pumps the price. Is just being a store value, and it wasn't Bitcoin's initial narrative. So like it took it many tries to find its fit, and it turns out it was finally store value. You don't want your digital currency, because guess what? People just sell it all the time and transact it. It's not price positive, which most of us are here for when it comes to speculation. So you want to find an asset that's a good store of value, and then that's why to me ultimately Hex was such an easy winner, because to me it's the ultimate one. It's completely decentralized. It replicates what Bitcoin does, and then it earns you trustless yield. It mints you more Bitcoin as time goes on. Like, you couldn't beat that in my eyes as far as store values go.
Yeah, that part on store value, just a lot of people don't really understand it. Like there's this, well, even back to the whole thing with payments, there's already, at least compared to the Gen 1 coins, as most of them were just proof of work coins, there's already far better options in the market to send payments, like stable coins. Hey, like the shit that I get, it's not going to change in value by like fucking 70% or something like that. So stable coins already kind of wiped out the whole the whole narrative as far as like sending first off crypto as payments, which was already like a dumb thing to begin with, because it costs like for somebody to like it's
more
slower,
expensive.
more expensive. It was just it was a really dumb narrative. So and then plus, yeah, there's already stable coins today where if you're accepting stuff as a business, like a business is not going to take a cryptocurrency that could lose 70% of its value in a period of like 2 months, like because of the volatility. I mean, businesses are a business for, I mean, they need something that's more predictable. So yeah, payments I think are very much overrated. And then it's all about basically supply sinks, because that at the end of the day is what creates these insane run-ups that we see. So Hex obviously did it with its smart contract that has these really good sinks built into it with the whole T-share mechanism and the game theory. And then like in Ethereum lands, you have there's other supply sinks that exist in Ethereum land. They're doing it through like smart contracts with like Ethereum. It's not locked. It's not like truly locked, but people do use their Ethereum and put it into smart contracts that takes it off, at least off the market. So I think it's like 25% of the ETH supplies used in smart contracts was the last data point I saw on that.
What do you guys what are y'all's feelings on Richard when it comes to him essentially saying that Ethereum's 2.0 staking of doing 32 Ethereum is just going to make it more centralized, just for the fact that your common person's not going to have 32 ETH to stake, so then they have to go to these like these pooling contracts and stuff to essentially give up the custody of their coins. Think there's any validity in that statement at all?
In terms of giving away your custody, well, yeah, it's not easy to be a validator, basically, on that sense and stuff. So it is kind of shitty, because yeah, you do need 32 ETH and you can become a validator, but most people aren't going to. They're going to delegate their 32 ETH to a pool. 100, like everybody will. Everybody will. And I mean, but the thing is, I don't know how Pulse is going to work in terms of that. Hopefully, it's just you can just do it through your own wallet and stake your own stuff on there. That's cool. But most people won't be validators on Pulse either way. But at least you can stake and get the yield without having to give custody of your keys. So that's a bonus.
But the yield is probably going to be awful in the beginning on Pulse.
Oh, pretty bad. Yeah,
it's going to be bad. And I think what's going to be cool though is I think there's going to be a lot of validators, and I think the 33 validators, I think a lot of them are going to operate essentially like kind of how Amazon does, where, because if you guys don't know already, like the validators are going to have the largest amount of Pulse, and then they're also going to incentivize people to come and delegate their Pulse to their validator position so they can maintain that spot in the rotation. So I have a feeling those validators, not only are they going to get shitty fees, but for the first like 6 months to a year, I think they're going to be operating at like a serious loss, because they're probably going to give back a lot more fees than what they normally would, just to entice people to delegate their Pulse to them. I kind of foresee that taking place.
I think that's exactly right. Richard's talked about that, you know, this isn't like staking, and it's not like a major income earning opportunity, right? It is like that full-time job that he mentions when it comes to running at least a pulse chain validator. So it's a good point, like you mentioned, with even the people with Ethereum, that most people, instead of doing that themselves, they want to just, be able to earn whatever interest and staking rewards they can via, delegating it to someone else, and then just, getting a part of that pool back.
Yeah, as far as how decentralized Ethereum remains after proof of stake, I think right now there's quite a bit of validators, even with their beacon chain that they're running, which I think all it does is, I actually don't remember what the beacon chain does. It's not super important until they get to the next phase of their staking rollout. But I've seen different versions of like staking pools in the ETH community where, I guess it basically pools until it meets that 32 ETH requirements. But I haven't looked into it in a while, so I guess I can't really give a good answer on like the decentralization aspect of it. But I've seen ones that were pretty good, even on chains like ADA, which doesn't have smart contracts. It does seem like they have a pretty good system, at least for the way their staking pools work on that. So I would say the strong part with Ethereum is actually the tokenomics after EIP 1559, and once they have phase 1 for proof of stake, because they just have a lot of pump-amentals that build into the price. So even if it does become more centralized, it probably just doesn't really matter when it comes to price appreciation, because either way, like, Ethereum is still going to likely be more decentralized than a lot of other chains that are in the market today. Like a lot of the proof of work chains that cost like $20,000 to like attack for 1 hour, and you can destroy the
For
whole
shits
chain.
and gigs.
So yeah, it'll still be very expensive to attack. Like nobody's going to attack Ethereum. But yes, honestly, their proof of stake the proof of stake itself isn't really. It's not really the strong part of Ethereum. Like Ethereum just has a very big community that's around it, so it's just not going to disappear at this point. It's achieved enough critical mass in the market that it's always going to be some kind of anchor. So if there's other chains that do better when it comes to like the staking, then that is still up for grabs in the market. And it looks like Richard has some very good. I need to go back and listen to some of his videos, because he was even mentioning.
Behind.
Yeah, I need to actually learn a little more on that, because he was even bringing up some of the faults when it comes to Binance Smart Chain. So for one, Binance Smart Chain is built off the tech stack in Cosmos, so it uses what's called IBC, or as it uses Cosmos.
It uses Cosmos and ETH, right? Or
so it uses.
Or it's using two different chains.
It's using Tendermint, and I think it just uses Tendermint, and then Tendermint has EVM compatibility built into it, but there's supposedly like a higher attack surface when it comes to Tendermint. But I don't know. I've seen different arguments for Tendermint, where they have, like, if you have these other chains that are like, I guess that's what it is like you end up creating these other chains, and BSC is one of those chains. So if one of the other chains ends up dying, it could mess up a lot of things. But I think the main hub that's in Tendermint isn't necessarily destroyed. I don't know. It's a lot. It's more complicated than.
Yeah, it's a lot more convoluted than
Yeah.
most.
There's more mechanical parts, I guess. So I can just see it from that standpoint. There's more that could go wrong.
So Matic to zero.
Well, they have the whole
Good.
admin. They have the whole admin key issue where somebody could just steal billions of dollars. So there's that.
Right. Not the biggest fan of Matic over here, but yeah. We'll see.
No, ETH is just gonna, just like Bitcoin with store value, ETH is just gonna have that first mover advantage for like some time. But I mean, I know you've talked a lot about it on your channel. Wasabi is just like with these new chains coming up, like it's gonna take time, but we've already seen this cycle is probably the biggest impact on just stealing market share away from Ethereum is by far been this cycle than any other cycle we've experienced so far. Yeah,
and the advantage that that Pulse has too is it's actually I would actually say it's like even complementary to Ethereum, because it's EVM based, so it uses the same. You're basically using the same code base. There's the clients like Geth that Richard mentions pretty frequently on his streams. So it's easier to move value from like Ethereum over to like another EVM based chain, which Pulse is, because Ethereum is there's always going to be limits, and then once you hit those limits, the volume has to move somewhere else. So the whole multi-chain environment makes a lot of sense to me. And then Richard also mentioned something with like the validator rotations on Pulse chain. So even though there is, let's say, a certain requirement to be a validator, you can still you can still have somebody validate, be the validator, and then create like a pool for a validator node. So I think it's 33 validators for Pulse chain, which seems fine. Yeah, because BNB or Binance Smart Chain, I think they have 20, and then they also have that added complexity with Tendermint. Whereas Pulse is basically a totally separate L1, and it doesn't have that added attack surface on it.
You know, it's interesting that you mentioned Geth, because I've got a clip of Richard Hart. I still need to upload it. It's all done processing, but he talks about different scaling solutions, and one of them he talked about like moving off of Geth and like somehow going on to a different system that would somehow make it like 4 times more of the throughput itself. But yeah, it's definitely interesting, like you mentioned. I mean, we see how successful BSC has been, and then we see, like you mentioned, the validators that it has, and then with Pulse Chain, the 33, I definitely think that it's copying a lot of the success that Binance Smart Chain has had, and kind of piggybacking off of that, and taking what has worked, and then making different approvals to make it a little bit better. So it's going to be cool to see it finally running in action.
Yeah, and plus BNB, like the burn mechanism. Well, they don't actually have a burn. That's just basically there's like a burn that Binance, the exchange, would do. They would just burn coins, and then the whole burning is built into the protocol for Pulse.
Yep. Yeah, Richard had mentioned that was going to like stop, or that there was some sort of like central entity for Binance that would somehow burn the coins, but then something about like at half the supply, something like that, it was going to stop burning, maybe something. So to your point, it's always nice to trust a protocol than it is to trust a centralized entity or a person to do that task.
Yeah, I would just be very cautious if you have a lot of money stored on Binance Smart Chains, because I don't think the reality is, when it comes to the on and off ramps in the space, those are going to get more and more regulated. That's the reality. So exchanges like Coinbase, Kraken, Gemini, at some point it's likely going to be mostly US based exchanges that have the majority of the volume, and it's going to be harder. Like
they were already passing the new, or they just presented the like new bill today, where it's just much more stricter KYC limitations. Again, the 10,000 like flag, $10,000 flag when any money is entering your account, and like you said, like majority it's going to be in this the U.S. fiat on and off ramps, and we're already seeing that regulation come on the floor that pretty much just puts a big old freaking target on us.
Yeah, for sure. So it's going to be instead of like traders that are going on these other exchanges, like losing money on those exchanges, it kind of goes back to we're only going to allow people in the U.S. to steal your money. So that's getting all that's getting built out now.
Gotta keep all that digital money in the U.S. Damn it.
Yeah. This is actually probably like it means crypto, even a couple of years later, it's not going to be as well. It's different, I guess, for people that are already in, because you can move value around relatively easily with DEXs and all that stuff. But for anybody that onboards like a year or two from now, I'm guessing there's going to be even more strict limitations on Coinbase, or like you'll be able to withdraw money, but it'll likely be it'll be tracked. Like they'll be probably doing surveillance on wallets and that kind of shit. So a lot of the privacy, there's going to be basically an erosion on the privacy side of things. Need
to fund that new $1 billion+ taxation reform they're trying to do. So they're going to use our crypto gains for it. So that's pretty sweet. But well, yeah. I mean, we were talking about it earlier too. Is like next cycle might be where we actually start seeing privacy coins become more relevant again, just as far as their price, and just more of them starting to pop up if government and regulation starts entering the space a lot heavier, like we anticipate them to. You can actually see a demand for those actually pop back up. Monero actually start to kill it, and more coins come on the scene.
It might be even a little sooner than you think. I think there might be. I literally think that you'll see something come from the government a little bit after like September 15th, because they're going to wait for the tax, basically like if you're a business and you got the extension, and then you also got the 1 month delay because of COVID basically. as a business, the latest you can do the taxes for 2020 is September 14th or 15th, if I remember correctly. So I wouldn't be surprised right after that then the U.S. government then comes out with some stuff on crypto taxes and stuff in September. So if that happens, then I could see these private coins actually shooting up actually right away, like shoot.
Monero through the roof.
Speaking of which, did you guys hear about the thing that Richard was talking about, like the exploit? Something about like if you didn't let Monero cook for like an hour or something like that, that the transaction could be not anonymous,
Could still
like
be tracked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't looked into it yet, so I can't confirm it. But
Me neither. I was just curious. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the government has been. Okay, wait, no, I don't want to throw all this fucking. But anyway,
Dude, it's always on Brad's channel too.
I know. I'm sorry.
Shut it down.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
I get very conspiratorial on Brand's channel. I don't know why.
Just get that in.
Hey,
Oh,
please
is
do.
it for privacy stuff or just?
Yeah, with privacy stuff. Like, I mean, the government has been known to actually, like, in some operations, to actually make apps that people think that are actually secure in order to do illicit transactions, and they actually have everyone recorded on there, and then just stunk. This happened a lot in the bodybuilding world with, like, I guess steroid rings, basically, where these people make these certain apps on the app stores and stuff like that, and they're like, this is like the app for the month, basically, to talk privately, and like they didn't know that the government was the one that created it. And got so many people.
It's just like Tornado Cash, like Bree's saying, right? Like if you don't know the other participants and there's not that many funds in there, it'll literally just be the government sitting in with all the funds, and then yours enters, and you think you washed it. You're like, all right, I'm scot free. Put it in your new clean wallet, and next thing you know, you're just straight up. You have a bullseye right on you. It's like, all right, cool. We got Miguel. We got Brand.
Right.
We got Motley trying to fucking wash his funds.
Yeah.
Well,
sorry, go ahead, Brand.
There's a huge like a set, right? Like if the set of people is a really small amount, then it's easy to see what IPs it keeps coming from. Just like Tor, they can reverse engineer the Tor nodes to see like where those packets are coming from. And as far as my knowledge goes, I mean, Richard he's even like co-funded the adoption of Tornado.cash. Like he was one of the participants along with Vitalik that contributed to the creation of it. But yeah, I mean, Tornado.cash and like Monero are like the only things that I know that are kind of like the most private. But to your point, at what rate does it, get cracked and stuff like that? So you definitely got to kind of watch yourself with that stuff, because it's so easy to be sold a narrative. And then like Miguel mentions, have it be like a massive honeypot. And it's like, all right, let's just, do this the proper way and not screw ourselves in the end.
Yeah, I just saw a really bad tweet. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh yeah, well
please share it.
There's good points on the privacy side as far as how exchanges it's different, like in the case for Binance, right? Because they were mostly they weren't under a big regulatory spotlight until recently. But in the case for Coinbase, Kraken, like as a business, they are going to just abide by whatever rules and regulations exist with the intent of just operating their business. They have different demands that they have to satisfy. Otherwise, that's Coinbase and Kraken, basically, they're not going to break rules for retail to like buy cryptocurrency. It's not going to happen. But so when it comes to using things like Tornado Cash, one of the risks, and Bree mentioned it in the chat, is whenever you make that transaction, there's basically in your wallet a link that shows, or from your transaction history, that you use Tornado Cash. So you can add in, like, it depends on the level of surveillance exchanges do on your addresses. Because if you let's say take your funds and start to move them from one wallet to another, all of that's linked. So the hard part is basically being able to do it in a way that basically just disconnects the wallet from everything, and that just has no prior history to it. So, and the thing is with like all these distributed ledgers, they're all public. So it's honestly not that hard for exchanges to create these very aggressive KYC and like money laundering, so to say, what they refer to it as, even if it's even though the vast majority of cases are definitely not money laundering, but that's what they'll frame it as. And then it's a higher risk. So that's why at the end of the day, like when you're buying coins, you're better off just holding onto it for a long period of time. And a lot of these problems start to kind of erode. It becomes more of a problem if you're going from if you're trying to like move coins around, then you put yourself at like a higher risk, basically, like from like a regulatory sense, I guess. So, I mean, if you have money in crypto now, just be thankful you were able to have it before, like later on when all this stuff starts to come into play, because there's going to be some mad jealousy with these OGs with like lots of money and having these like big bags in crypto.
Yeah.
So that's going to be pretty interesting.
It's true. I hear about the people that are just getting into it and they've got like a Coinbase or a Kraken and they're like, Coinbase will only let me do $500 and, it won't give me the money back within a week, something like that, like 5 to 7 days. And it's like, like you mentioned, WAVE3, that the longer that you're kind of in it, the more, or the less restrictions, I guess, that you have. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's really like eye-opening for the people that just get into it, that say they got $10,000 or $15,000 and they want to put it in, and they've got like a $500 or like a $750 limit. It's like, man, makes you be grateful for being in a little bit early and having those limits pushed back, but doesn't mean that those people don't have those problems getting into it.
Yeah, and the only way to change that kind of stuff is most people online, they basically end up, well, first off, like to really change things, first and foremost, you need to have money. First and foremost, 100%. Number one requirement. And then if you and a couple other people that have money, you can team up to like actually start to like change things in the world. So if these are all concerns for you, a lot of you that's watching the stream a couple of years, you'll have a lot of money, and do something with it. Do something useful. That is something that's very, very useful. If freedom is very important for you in this market, you're gonna have to fight for it in the future. So you'll have the money to do so.
That's one of the underlying things that I didn't realize with Pulse Chain that I've gotten so excited for, and literally just the past like couple weeks to a month, is the idea of building stuff on Pulse Chain, right? And like Hex was the first step. It gave me enough economic mass to be able to spend a couple $10,000 here, $10,000 here on the dev, and start working on like actually building, coming up with different ideas and stuff. And like that just continues to grow your economic energy. And then, like you said, it's actually just being able to apply that in the real world and making the changes that you want to see, making crypto maybe our new form of currency, trying to do the best we can to take government out of the equation. Like you can't do anything without capital in this world at this point.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And if I'm excited and like I'm wanting to build stuff on Pulse Chain, I imagine a lot of other people are. A lot of other people.
I wish them luck.
Yeah, I bet you do.
Man, it's hard. It's hard to start a project, especially if you're not known. That's for sure. There's a lot of people that have money, but they don't have much of a voice. That's for sure.
That's true, because I remember like when we're discussing some stuff today, like one of the ideas was already thought of, but it just kind of like failed, right? Like nothing came of it because like they didn't have any outreach. They didn't have an audience. They didn't have the people to go to. Like it's a good idea, and like obviously if like I'm thinking of it, other people were thinking of it, and someone's already even built it. But if you don't have the audience, the outreach to make it known, like I mean, I've been in for this community for over 4 years, and I didn't even know that website existed. And it's still there. It's just a freaking skeleton though, because no one knew about it, and it had good potential upside. It's just not enough people were aware of it. So it's like Richard says, like you need to have like both sides of the coin. Yes, it's good to be an amazing developer and know how to write code and everything, but then there's an aspect that most amazing developers are missing. It's the marketing side. It's the business oriented side. They're just very focused on one set of skills, and it's not the complete pie. They need all of it to actually be successful.
That's so true. You can have the best technology, but if it doesn't have, like you mentioned, any marketing efforts or any sort of community behind it, then it's pretty much just like, null and void. So that's definitely a good point. I mean, you can have a lesser technology. I mean, Richard had kind of mentioned recently, like BSC and Matic, but when you compare it to Bitcoin, stuff like that, like there's just differences, So even those three projects have done significantly well, but yeah, if you don't have any marketing or any sort of community behind it, then people aren't going to be able to spread that mass awareness.
That's true.
Oh, dude, you guys hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Yo, Patrick, check your phone.
It shows the time on there.
Shut the fuck up.
Would you like me to open it too?
Oh, okay. All right.
It was successful.
Oh, is that what you guys were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
It's actually just a dick pic.
Oh, you actually?
He's having to zoom in.
Okay, I will. Okay, that's good.
Yeah, it's real good. The crazy part, I bought it and now it's up. I'm already up like $100. Like from 10 minutes ago.
God damn it, dude!
I'm gonna have to get the details later since I was late to the green room.
Wasabi physically shapes.
Push the price up on me.
That's what DC does. Like he's like, guys, come here. I got a coin for you. I own 75% of the supply already, but come here. You're gonna love this coin.
Sure, deal.
He's like sitting there with these gigantic bags on his shoulders. He's like, guys, you want some of these coins? They're really good.
They're really good.
All right, this coin just recently had the bottom because I made it, and
guys, got a quick question.
Sure.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. So there's been a lot of speculation, and I'm curious what you guys think about it too, because there was a comment that had referred to this. But a lot of people are thinking like, okay, day 17 through 19, right? Because it's got like the flat 1.75, something like that, as opposed to the volume bonus itself. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Like, because it seems to be like a major consensus that everyone's like, if you don't have a certain amount of capital, do it on day 17 through 19. That way you got like a 1.75. But do you guys have any thoughts on that by chance?
I mean, it's your smarter option now. If you're a smaller stack and you're at this point and you still haven't sacked or you still have a majority of your coins, like, yeah, you might as well just wait those last 3 days, because where price is at on top of the awful rate you're getting, like you're going to get next to no value on your sacking. So if you wait just another day or two, you're going to at least get a 1.75 multiplier to counteract some of those losses you're going to have in the meantime. Will price follow? Probably not. I don't think it will, or at least not as much as people initially anticipated. But if you've waited this point and you have a smaller position, you just want to wait for the 1.75x. I mean, honestly, at this point, if you made it this far, and let's say you have a smaller stack and price continues not to go up over the next 3 days, even with the 1.75 multiplier, you honestly could just wait for Pulse Chain to be released, see what happens with the market, see what the price starts at. There's a very good chance that we could dump below the initial offering. Like every other coin has done it. I know Pulse Chain could potentially be different, but I mean, the history showed us like there's going to be that trough period where there is a sell-off, where there's people taking initial profits, and it's usually happens relatively early on in the launch of a coin. So there's probably another opportunity for you. If you missed out now because you were waiting for a price bump or something like that, you probably have another opportunity coming down even after the launch of Pulse Chain. But if you are hell-bent on sacrificing and you're a smaller position and you've waited this long, wait for the 1.75 multiplier. It's the way to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Also, if you want to compare like the first 5 days to the last 3 days, right? Like, obviously, excluding the bonuses, right? Like you were getting $1 for 10,000 points, and on the adjacent days, I think the day 17 should be like $1.15 for 10,000 points, and then the last day being like $1.25 for for 10,000 points. It's just you don't have the added extra bonus because it's already been added already to the total. Where with the first 5 days, you had the chance of being like higher in the totem pole, so you could have got like a lot of extra points in terms of the multiplier. You know, the example that Richard was saying, that once it's all said and done, everyone's put in a line and you're doing a card with your multiple on it. So I mean, I don't know. I haven't seen what is, if someone sacrificed $20,000, like what's their multiple, like 1.3x?
It just depends. Someone actually made a site, I think, that calculates it, but I can't. If someone knows in the chat, feel free to post it. But I mean, you could also just take the total amount of USD value right now, probably add it all together, see what your position is, like what percentage you are, like where you fall in line, and then you can just figure out from 2.5 to 1 and get a rough estimate of your multiplier. You could probably do the math pretty simply on your own.
Right.
But yeah, maybe Bree has something right there with that Google Docs.
Yeah, I know that's the article. I think it was a DOS
okay.
Bum and like Profex that had kind of posted that. So appreciate Motley kind of adding in some input, because I've heard a lot of people saying that, and I don't like to like speak to something until I really know it's the truth. But yeah, that's kind of the consensus that I had too. So appreciate that, guys.
And DC, check your Twitter messages.
I swear, dude. Former dick pic. I swear, bro.
Sometimes you just gotta send that last shot. It's actually meat spin. You just start hearing it playing on his speakers.
It's the teachers of peaches. What? Let's see. It appears you need 500K minimum to get the 1.5 volume phase, which is why I've been telling you people you should have waited until the last 3 days. I'm okay.
Yeah, but I mean, even then, if you have 500K, obviously you would have been better off early on. But hindsight's hindsight. So
yeah, 6 God, baby.
Let's see.
No, you know, I was getting I was getting so much pushback on this shit that some whales didn't make some fake wallets, made a bunch of wallets and shit. And like, I was getting so much, even inside of my own group and stuff, where people were saying, no, Miguel, you're wrong. No way, sir. There's no way whales would do that. Economically, that's not very smart for them to create a bunch of fake wallets and shit at different levels, Miguel. There's like no, and then I was like, what? And then literally 2 days into it, I was like, yeah, shut up. There's so, if you look at the whole list, right, there's so many people with like $50,420, $50,400 $500. Like literally, it's like there's so many wallets where like the difference is $25. Like so, it's like 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, 20, like that.
Can you put UFO 42's comment up there, please, Brian?
Yeah, let me get up there real quick here.
Top 20. So I don't think that's true. I think actually a lot of those coins had dipped below their initial coin offering. And then on top of that, I wasn't just referring to like people that bought in day one too, right? We're talking about people currently that haven't sacked at this point. So they are experiencing a much worse rate than what people did in the beginning. So yes, they're already behind the 8 ball. They're experiencing a much worse rate than what people did, say, sacking on day 1 or 2. I can't remember where we peaked out at price, but essentially like around 17, 18 cents. So there's already people that are going to be way behind what the lowest price you could have bought Pulse for during the sack phase. So I mean, it's just all determined on your entry. And I was mainly speaking to people that waited this long at this point. You might be better. You might get a better entry point afterwards. And I mean, that's a bold statement to essentially say it's almost impossible to dip below the initial offering. You never know. I think there's a very good chance that you see a very large sell-off. It just depends when the bridge comes up and then what our fair market value starts at, honestly.
You owe me so much, Wasabi. Like everything, bro. Like all of it, bro. Patrick Wasabi looking to crypto WAVE3 TV.
He's almost got as many names as you do now.
I know. I'm feeling the pressure, honestly. You know, it's like
I'm feeling boring. I still got the same damn name from the rip. You guys have changed like 3 or 4 times now. Yep.
Wait, how'd you go with Motley? Like, I think I asked you this a long time ago. I think like there's an interview like we did last year, maybe, where you told me. But,
Yeah, it's just like Motley Crew just means like a hodgepodge or like a mix and investor. So it just means I just invest in a mixture of things. So like before cryptos, real estate, stocks, precious metals. It's become much more centralized, focused investing over, over the past couple of years. But yeah, that was kind of the initial name. And I kind of want something else because I knew my SEO would run into trouble with Motley Fool, but
yeah, because that's what I thought you. That's where you got. I thought you got the name from.
No, I couldn't. It was the one issue where I almost didn't pick the name because I just knew I'd always run into that SEO problem. But eventually, I just didn't give a fuck. I couldn't think of anything else, so I was just like, whatever. Just went with it.
Yeah, it's hard for me to call you anything else now.
Yeah. Oh, I'm getting called bearish. I mean, if you foresee a pump, give your reasons why, but I don't think we do at this point.
People are dumb.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think it's just cognitive dissonance, right? Like if you're in that section that hasn't sacked yet, like you're gonna want that pump to take place more often than not. So you're gonna try to rationalize it in your mind. To me, just from what I've seen, and I mean, you can go on chain and see all this stuff. All the big players that are in, their entries are set unless they want to jockey for position. And if they are gonna jockey for position, why would they pump their competition's bag? I don't see justification for it. The only way I can see you getting your pump at the end is if the OA starts pulling off some moves. And I mean, honestly, at this point, I'm just gonna I'm not gonna even speculate on the OA's plays because I have no idea, honestly.
I might spend the last 3 days just, you guys, it's the last 3 days to get in, bro. No.
Just start screaming and be at the top. Just, oh my God, sack.
Just like just one little like aside from that, I never thought in my life I'd say the word sack so many times. Like sack this, sack that, dude. It's like sacks in your face, sacks in my. It's just like I'm hearing the word sack all day, dude. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
A billion tea bags.
Yeah, lots of big sacks.
All these sacks.
Yeah, it'll be nice to not have to talk about it anymore.
Agree. I think you're right on the last day. I think you're right.
You know, this is the interesting thing, right?
But does that pump the price? Hold up, like does that pump the price? It's already got Hex.
No, it will lower the APY.
Lower the APY. It won't pump the price. It could do like it did a big payday and split up its wallets even more so it doesn't affect as many people's multipliers and do a bunch of small entries. Yeah, I don't know if that's gonna help price at all.
Because how much Hex is sacrificed so far?
So, another good point. Just besides the 1%, Bree, that it automatically gets, a lot of things, or something that people haven't talked about recently is so there's going to be a copy of there's going to be a 1-to-1 copy of everyone's ETH, right? That's the only ERC20 that actually gets revoked from people's wallets after 1 month. So, like, if you don't move that free 1-to-1 you get from your Ethereum, it's gonna get revoked back. So it's gonna go to that central entity. And when you do the total of it, it's a lot. It's going to be like at least like 1.5 trillion tokens that just goes back to the central entity. And you got to look, like a lot of people just aren't going to claim that pulse. They're not going to know about it. They're not going to move it from their wallet, and it's going to get reclaimed. So it's going to be a bunch of free money for that OA entity, because I think Richard made an example on a stream, like even Vitalik, who has 300,000 ETH, like it's only worth about $30 probably in pulse. So like most people it's just dust of dust. Like no one's gonna like care to move it, or they're not gonna realize, hey, if I don't move this in 1 month to a different wallet, it's gonna be extracted.
Yeah, so, where did full Motley go?
A couple streams ago, last week I think. Bro, you gotta look at what's going on in the space. You can't sit there and hype up a pump that's not gonna come. I don't think it's gonna come.
Brandon, can you take this man off the stream, please? Take him off. Thank you.
I do need to go pack for Greece. So.
You go to Greece?
Yep, go to Greece tomorrow.
Shit! Cool.
Yeah.
When is that?
Tomorrow. I fly out tomorrow.
Dude.
Haven't packed shit. Haven't finished some other stuff I gotta do. So yeah.
How long are you going for? Like you said, like 10
like
or 14
10 days.
or something?
Yeah, like
okay.
10
days. Dude.
That's cool, man.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
You come back hella brown tanned.
Oh yeah, for sure. Hopefully I don't get stuck over there, because like let's say I contract that lovely virus of ours, then I'm stuck over there. So hopefully that.
Just take Flintstone gummies, bro. You're good.
Yo, I love gummies. I never had the Flintstone gummies. I had the chewables.
I too was poor growing up. Yes.
They have, yeah, it's probably the cheaper version. I didn't even know they had gummies. This is bullshit.
I know, right? Me too. They were really good for the first part, and then they got hella nasty. Like once you got,
yeah, you had that very tart, chalky aftertaste.
Yeah.
That was just too much.
These really worked, man. I had the most trippiest melatonin. I took this last night. I had the craziest fucking dreams I've ever had in my life.
How many milligrams is that? I'm curious.
5 per gummy.
So like I've been working because like my sleep is really messed up. My circadian rhythm has been jacked since the Navy, and they actually say even 5 milligrams might be too much. They said that you want to wean into it more between like 1 and 2 milligrams, and that's really all you need to kind of let you like kind of sink into where you need to be. Yeah, they say 5 milligrams is actually more than which was required, which might explain.
I took 5.
Oh my god, bro! What the fuck? When I told them I took the 5 milligram ones, they told me to cut back and just take a 1 to 2 milligrams. You're over there popping 5 milligrams, like 20 of them, like they're Flintstones.
Bro, they're delicious though. But
yeah,
like,
see, Bree says 0.3 milligrams. So yeah,
I took 5, bro. I had the trippiest dream, dude. Like Richard Hart was in it. I had some of you guys are literally.
Bro, that's way too much.
Tell us the prophecy.
That's way give us the prophecy that was
this shit was full fiction. This isn't not like I've had dreams before where they come true. Like I've had dreams like I've literally like I dreamed about stuff and it's happened. Like straight up, like about prices and about all this other stuff. This one was just retardo mode. It was like so stupid. Like for some reason, I'm on a couch. Richard Hart's on another couch over there with like I forgot who else was in. I think Motley, you were there too. Like for some reason, we're
I'm in a lot of your dreams for some reason, but that's okay. I accept it.
Maybe it's because I think like who's a Hex Maxi, and I was like,
just like insert me.
Insert you. We're in there, right? And for some reason,
I'm really embarrassed today.
He leaves from the room or something like that with a skateboard. I don't know why he had a skateboard, but Richard Hart had a skateboard. That he like the table was a table, and then he put his hand on the table, and then he took a skateboard out of the table, like it was part of the flat. Like I don't know. He did that, and then he's like
way too much melatonin.
Dude, it was a lot. But like he went outside, and then from there, me, you, Motley, and who else was there? It was like some guy. I don't know who this dude was. I still don't know who this guy is. We get into this elevator, and like basically we're in some sort of giant compound. It seemed to me like it was Puerto Rican compound, and we were just like going down like every level, and there's like all types of crazy shit happening. It was like we were in a building full of clubs, like clubs. I don't know what it is. It was insane. It was like everything went
some like underground thing. You said
no.
We were going down.
We were top of a building, so it's like
we were going up. Okay.
We were up.
We were up already.
Down. So every floor that we'd stop, it would be like the first one was like boom, boom, like classic club.
Yeah.
I'm like fuck
fucking
yeah,
like
cool.
Matrix style. We're just fucking getting it.
And then we went down lower, and there was a fucking vampire club. Like Blade, like
Blade underworld shit. Yeah.
Underworld shit. I was like, what the fuck? And as we kept lower and lower, the clubs kept getting gothier and grimier, dude, to the point where, like, dude, me and you we got hella scared, and we got off the elevator to go down this path. Dude, and we were like,
"Get me off the vampire club!"
We started seeing people like hitting each other, like mosh pit shit, and we started getting fucking freaked out. And then that's when I woke up.
Solid.
Bro, I was like, what? I literally woke up and just like I had this thing by my bed, and I threw this shit across the fucking wall. I was like, what the fuck was this?
Yeah, Bree says you really want to lay that off, or you're gonna start downgrading the receptors to downregulate. Yeah, so I was told to take much less, and yeah, she's saying take even less. So
no, it was scary, guys.
Don't take 5 milligrams and don't take 5 of them.
I would say.
Yeah, go ahead, guys.
I would say $2 defense that like it's just kind of like what Richard talked about with John McAfee when he was on the stream that like, why do you need a microgram scale? Like can't you just like adjust the portion of the melatonin in this case? Can't you just make it like 1 milligram as opposed to like 5? Like it seems kind of interesting that like that's like the minimum viable dose, because I agree. I mean, sometimes you take that and it's like, you conk out for like 10 hours and whatnot, but if that's more than what the suggested amount is, then
It's
hey,
delicious.
maybe you're not happy.
Smells delicious.
I don't even know if I'm like jacked up, because like when I took like melatonin, and even like when I was like DC and I was taking 5 milligrams, and I think I was taking a couple too, it just didn't do shit to me. Like I didn't have lucid dreams. It didn't knock me out. Like my shit's really jacked up. So I probably was doing all kinds of bad stuff.
Dude, Molly, like I had an appointment. I had my alarm set to wake up at a certain time, and I overshot the appointment by 2 hours.
Oh my god,
Bro!
Yeah.
I went to sleep at in a pretty decent time. It wasn't nothing bad, and I must have slept like 11 hours, probably.
Yep.
11 hours, and I'm just like, what the fuck, man?
It's like one of those sleeps where you wake up and you like jolt awake. You're like, and you like have no clue what time it is, what's going on, what you've missed, who you are.
If I'm being for real, if I had to say how many, like I've dreamed a lot about the future, like a lot, like a scary amount, like about the future, and like some of it's already happened. Like one of those trippiest dreams I had, like maybe this is in 2017 when I dreamed this shit. I dreamed that I was in some sort of, I felt like I was in New York. I was in this fucking like this loft, like this shit looked really sick. It was like white and silver. And then I look on my phone and I was looking at some kind of app with squares on it and stuff. And I had crypto in there. I had ETH, I had OMG token and all this stuff. I could see the prices of the tokens. And then I was like, what the fuck was that? Like, because in 2017, there wasn't apps at all. Right. Come to find out 2 years later, that was a Celsius app I was looking at.
Oh wow!
Oh nice.
Like it looked exactly like my dream. I was like, "What the fuck?" So that's one of the reasons. I mean, I hadn't said that out like ever on the stream ever, but when I found the Celsius app, I was like, you know what? That was probably God telling me something. All right, you know what? I'm gonna throw a little extra on this. There's that one, and there's one that was like, who was it? This one was fucked up, but I'll say it, man. It's pretty fucked up. Like I had one where Richard died, dude. In it, like he was dead. Like he was already dead.
I remember you telling me.
Oh, you know what I'm talking about, right?
The council.
The council, yeah. We were all, for some fucking stupid reason. Me, you, Hexo, like Wasabi was there. You were there, Brand. Like anyone who was anyone in Hex, we were there wearing fucking black robes. Why?
Bunga bunga.
Why?
Yeah,
and this was like literally I think right before we started with the AA, bro.
Okay, yeah.
AA time. So it's like I didn't know who you were, Motley. I didn't. The only person I didn't see in there, I didn't see RG in there. I saw Kinetics in there. I didn't see RG. Maybe he wasn't there.
I think you said Coffee was in there too, right?
Yeah, Coffee was definitely there because it was me, you, Motley, me. Kinetics was talking to what's his name, Hexo, and then Stefan Firebun. How the fuck? I don't even know Stefan Firebun. How is Stefan? And then like for some reason in the dream, Steph was there, and like he talked to me. I don't know what he was saying, and then he just walked, and he's like his eyes glowed red, and he walked out.
French.
Yeah, he is French.
Yeah, hopefully that's way down the road. Our cult like yeah, exactly.
But it looked like we were all like 10 years older. Like this was not now. This is not now. Bro.
That's good. We got a good 10-year run. Well, I mean,
10-year run, bros.
We'll see a majority of our stakes come to fruition, so I'm okay with that.
I'll keep that shit to myself, man. Like I've heard, like I got more, but I ain't gonna say it, bro. This
I know you got more.
Somebody told me that like supposedly it's because I have a bunch of Native American blood. That like that's what I've been like. There's people on my grandma's side of the family where they're like dream seers or some shit.
Well, I think it's an actual condition too, where just people have very lucid dreams like yours, where it's like almost like another life, right? Like the people are very real. You remember phone numbers. It's like a different life. My aunt is like that. She takes medication because it was too much for her, because she literally remembered she made a whole new world. She was telling me in her dreams, like she would meet these new people, new names, new numbers, new employment, like just lived another life when she went to sleep, and she would never get like a full rest. So it was like messing with her REM cycles or something wild. And she's crazy. Like, she just couldn't take it anymore because her dreams were like that vivid every night. Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't remember shit from my dreams. I don't remember any of them.
Because you don't sleep, probably ever.
Probably that. Probably would require me to sleep. So.
I've had one lucid dream where I could control it. There's one time I tried. I tried it.
Oh, I did that one time. It was so awesome.
Yeah. It was fucking awesome, dude.
Yo, I've had a couple of those come up not recently, but I've had over the years. It's weird. Over the last like year, I haven't remembered shit for dreams, probably even 2 years. But before that, there was ones here and there where I would occasionally like realize that I was dreaming. And then I would try to like start to like manipulate something in my dream, and my dream would just fucking break. Like I would get rug pulled. Yeah, no, literally, what would happen is the whole dream. It was so weird. I don't know if it was like a psychological thing that it was. Like the dream would like turn black, and then they had this thing called. I think it's basically just like another lucid dream, but it feels like it's called sleep paralysis. So my dream would shut off, and then you would enter like sleep paralysis, where like if you're laying in your bed but you can't physically move. It's so weird. You have to basically look it up online to understand it. But
I've had a couple. I've had a couple like you're talking about.
If you have like sleep paralysis, and then if you try to like literally roll out of your bed, it feels like you're rolling out of your body, literally. Like I think it's basically like another it's like some sort of, it has to do with like it has to do with like something with like different forms of like dreams, I guess, and there's different states to it. But you can like literally make all these like lucid dreams out of it. Like it actually is very terrifying. Like it feels very the best I can describe it is it feels very like it's where the human mind's like fears the unknown. That shit felt fucking very unknown. I was like, God damn.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, part of it is that, the second part, the paralysis part, where like, same thing where it's like you're awake, but you're still in that different state of that REM and whatnot. And like you mentioned, it kind of is like that paralysis part where I've had it where like you wake up in the middle of the night and like you can't like roll over and stuff like that, but you're still awake. So anyways, it's all definitely interesting. And to Dollarcost's point about Richard, the thing that's beautiful about, any worst case scenario is like, Richard has designed things to, outlast himself. And even with Hex, like it's designed to go like 150 years. And he's like, that's going to go over most people's lifetime. So like, I don't know, it's kind of cool to think that he's thought about it in advance enough to know that like, it's not just going to exceed his lifetime, but other people's.
Yeah. Well, I ain't going to say the rest of the parts of dreams I've had. I'm going to keep that to myself. I ain't trying to fucking price.
I know like one of the few dreams I actually had control over. It's very nice. Had a very good time during that dream. So wish I had more of those dreams.
Yeah. Dude, all right, so the only lucid dream I ever had that I remember, like where I could control, not a lucid dream where it feels so real. I'm talking about like you're like awake in your dream, you can control it. Like it was like I was on like I was in Dragon. It was like actually this is what it is. I was in Dragon Ball Z for some reason, like basically Dragon Ball Z world. That's the only way I can explain it. Where it was like Snake Way in the afterworld where like the whole world's like orange clouds. That's how it looked. It was just orange clouds. Like there's nothing around it, and I just remember grabbing it. I grabbed the cloud and I made a person. I was like, "Whoa, dude, I'm dreaming. This shit's crazy." No, that's literally what I thought. I was like, "Dude, I wonder." So I grabbed the cloud and I made a person out of a cloud, and it was a real person. I was like, "Whoa!" And then I started flying, and I felt like I was flying. That shit was tight, bro. Tight. And then I woke up. I was so mad. I was like, "Fuck, that was sick, dude." I was literally so the first thing I did is I made a person, and then I started flying. That was my whole lucid dream. Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Were you flying the person that you created?
No, well,
were you using
I don't remember.
Were you using them as a rug, or they were like your own like human form of the flying Nimbus?
I don't know. No, I think they probably were there.
You just left them after you created them. And like, all right, deuces out, homie. I'm gonna go fly.
Cloud people coming in hot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it was trippy. It was real cool though. Everything felt tight. I mean, it felt really cool. Like, yeah.
Random comment. But I guess Tim Benjamin said that Richard is going live in 40 minutes. I couldn't find the extra details to confirm that. So
he's going live with the same guy he did earlier today, which is kind of odd. I've never seen that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Oh, you talking about the tokenomics guys?
Kyle guy or
the guy? I don't know what I've never followed the guy that he was on with today, but
It's
someone
like
told me
Kyle
it's the same guy. So I don't know what they're going to be discussing. I still haven't finished the first interview.
Token metrics or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what they're going back over again.
Yeah.
Maybe the test net's going live. That'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
Richard did mention the testnet was very close.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Brad. Sorry.
Oh, just real quick. I know he had mentioned that if it wasn't going to be, he had mentioned it was going to be really quick. If it wasn't going to be this week, it was going to be definitely next week. But yeah, I guess Russ is saying Kyle Chassis. So hopefully it is the same guy. And hey, the more content we can get, the better, because there's always stuff that Richard talks about that, he kind of inches his way in. So it's always nice to hear about the updates.
Yeah. So the test, the code's done. And I think Richard pretty much said, or at least the part that I caught on the stream today, it's just getting the servers ready. Just he was bitching about AWS, not just giving them enough servers. Who do I need to talk to so I can give you more money to get these servers up and running?
That's the beautiful thing about David Feeder even did a video with he had talked about Richard doing the web server, and then he had talked about what the maximum specs were. And the thing I always like about Richard is he's definitely willing to go overkill when it comes to the hardware that's necessary, as opposed to under. So it's always nice.
We got someone new, so it's not the same guy. Bree just posted the link. It looks like it's Cryptoface.
The paid network guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Cryptoface's thumbnail is hilarious. He photoshopped his face over the bikini girl Richard brought on years ago. And Richard has a hex chalice, and the bikini girl has a pulse chalice.
I'm gonna share that screen, dude. That is rich.
That's good.
Yeah. I don't see nothing bad about the. Let me see. Oh my god! What? Why? Why? Fucking funny. Doesn't that chick have a kid now? I think.
I've heard that. I don't know if that was ever confirmed.
I think
Richard he had mentioned one of them.
I was about to say everyone's it's gonna be Richard's offspring.
Yo, I legitimately asked Richard when I was on stream with him, and I don't know when that was, but
that was early on.
I streamed with him, and I told him, he's like, dude, you ever have kids, bro? You talk about all this stuff, but we need to I think I said we all need Hexicans. We need to outbreed the rest of these motherfuckers.
Richard's not gonna have one popped out until he's 50, 60 something. He's all right, fine, I'll have a kid. Just pass on the genes.
If someone could find me that stream, I know it's on Richard's.
Was it on your channel or no?
No. It was on. I tried to do it on my channel. He didn't want to, so he just sent me a Google Voice or something. So I'm all right, I just jumped on his thing.
That was early on.
Mm-hmm.
That was a long time ago. Yeah.
I just remember
it's on his Twitch. It's on his Twitch.
Really?
If we know what Richard's Twitch is, if we look back, I know somebody needs to find it because I would love to repost that.
Yeah, repost that and archive that shit for sure because he definitely beat you up on Litecoin for
Oh yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Yo, that shit threw you off too. You're like, fuck.
It really threw me off because I was I came on there literally I was gonna be one of the first people to actually be friendly towards him.
Got some good questions.
And then he just started slapping me up. I'm like, what the fuck?
So Litecoin, bro, huh? You like people dumping on your heads? You like that shit?
I'm friendly.
Was
just
this
like me.
Is this a live stream?
Yes, it's a live stream. Yeah.
Okay.
It was very early on, bro. It was early on.
Yeah.
It was before I was even really because back those days I wasn't as embedded in the community as I was, and I was one of those people that Richard always yelled at for just being on YouTube and not coming into his Telegram groups or anything else, and
lurkers.
Yeah, just lurkers. Well, not even lurkers. I just didn't fuck around with Telegram at the point since the last cycle. So
Dollar cost. I'd seen that on BitChute. It was on. I don't know if it was your channel or someone else's, but yeah, I'd seen because there was no video. It was just kind of like audio, but same thing. It was on my BitChute, BITCHUTE, I think. But I typed in like Dollarcostcrypto, Richard Hart, and that was the only thing that I was ever able to find. But it happened to be you guys. So it's a good point that you mentioned. I mean, the thing with Richard is, like he mentions, he's like friendly if you're kind of on the same side with him and whatnot, but like the second that there's any like dissonance or like separation, it's like,
I mean, DC was pretty friendly. It was just his name.
Yeah,
he just attacked me.
Guess Richard was just feeling feisty that day. Just want to smack him his name real quick. Man? It's probably because Charlie talked some shit about Hex recently or something, and it's just like, I'm gonna fuck this dude up for having Litecoin in his name.
Yo, dude, I think that was even before Charlie talked shit.
I mean,
it was a long time ago. Yeah,
it was a long time ago. It was. This was probably, if I had to think, it was like February.
It was long. I remember it because I remember DC was telling. I didn't know it was on stream because I was like, damn, like, because I remember you were telling me about like the aftermath of it, and you were like, you came in hot on the Litecoin.
It took him like 15 minutes to recover and like gain his composure again. Like,
yeah. No, it's just I was so caught off guard. That's not how like I was gonna be like, yo, Richard Hart, what's up, dude? Hey,
what's up, homie?
Let's talk Hex right now. And he's like, no, fuck you, fuck Litecoin.
Change your fucking name, pussy. Little did he know you changed your name like 20
times. You're a little
times
piece of shit for fucking liking Litecoin. You know that, right? You know that? Like, it's people like you who don't buy Hex. Bro, I'm in Hex. I've been in Hex since the beginning, bro. I've been straight.
Just start crying on stream.
Yeah. Was this on your channel, DC?
No, he didn't let me put it on my channel. He you know what he did? Like, he said, you know what? Hey, I'll send you. Like, he's like, oh, you know what? Let's do it on my channel and stuff and everything. I was like, all right, cool. He's like, I'm gonna stream it to YouTube and Twitch, and I'll send you the recorded version later. I'll send it to you. He never did. I asked him twice, and he was like, never answered me back. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah.
All right, chat. Here's your task. By the end of the stream, someone find that damn stream with DC and Richard. It's out there. Exactly. Where's the link? That's your job, Marcelo. Go find it.
Yeah, come on, Marcelo.
His name was Litecoin Moses at the time, if you're not aware.
Yeah. It's got to be somewhere, dude.
I know it's out there because I actually saw it, not like super recent, but like recent enough where I was like, oh, it's like fucking a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, I would love to repost that on a video. Then I just crop out the first 15. The rest of that.
No, but you have to leave that.
I put the ass whipping in there.
It's too good.
To Hex Monkey's point, I mean, there's been a lot of people that have been, banned from the group and stuff like that. And I know Gary has mentioned it a couple of times that he got banned, and it's definitely one of those things like, it's kind of like you're not in the club unless you've been banned from it, so I thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah, I'm too vanilla then because I never got banned.
Well, dude, me too,
Sorry, Brad.
Yeah, so that should be cool. I mean, it's always nice to see a stream with Richard, but it's going to be in about 24 minutes, I guess, is when it's supposed to be. So, you never know when it's actually going to go on because sometimes there's like a little bit of a delay and stuff like that. But someone, Mass Effect says, so Richard Hart has rugged Dollarcostcrypto once already. It's going to suck when he rugs Hex.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, but
exactly. I was gonna say, yo, Flames, post that URL because I remember seeing it on BitChute. But so
URL
post the URL
or it didn't happen.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, but CryptoFace is interesting. Like, if you guys haven't watched him before, he's a pretty serious trader. He usually does million plus dollar trades, and he watches that shit like a hawk. And it's funny though because he mentions Hex and like he's just like Hex is like like this is all the guy does is just trade, and Hex is the one asset that like he even said on stream. I should have clipped it out. I did like a super chat to him just what his thoughts were on Hex, and he's just like, yeah, that's literally like the one crypto that I'm just not trading, I'm not selling. Like he's like, I'm just holding on to that. It's already done like incredibly well, because I think he picked some up after his like first live stream he did with Richard, and I think he likes the fact of how like decorrelated it is with the rest of the market.
You know, I've seen that person a lot in Richard's chat while like moderating, and I think it's like you have over 100,000 subscribers when they've got that little check, but they're not a moderator. And I definitely agree. Like you mentioned, I've honestly never really followed them. I kind of stopped following a lot of the gurus, I guess, since 2017. But it's cool to see. Yeah, Flames, send a link. Go ahead. Yeah. But it's cool to see other people, right? Mitch Ray or this person that I don't really know about, but them kind of like, you know, providing information that Richard isn't a scammer and that he actually is legitimate in having them on his channel. So that guy Kyle something was pretty legit today. So it's always nice to see like Richard can definitely do like the Alex Saunders and the Lion's Den thing, or he can do like the friendly, cordial Richard Hart, which is like, hey, we're kind of both on the same page. Let me educate you while you get a you know, good opportunity at his audience.
Flames might have to like actually send us the link. I don't know if YouTube will let him post the link.
Yeah, they said they DM'd me on Telegram, so I'll.
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay. Let me.
You'll have to post in the chats for everyone.
I'll pull it up on the screen and then
we can even play a couple minutes of the DC bashing for everyone's entertainment.
Yeah, let's. I do have it. Thank you, Flames, for sending that to me. Let's see here.
Oh, this is great. I need to archive this shit. I don't even know if DC's there right now. Let's see.
I think it's this one. Okay, yeah. Richard Hart live streams the apocalypse.
Let's see it.
Might take a second to load.
Buffer.
BitChute's definitely like that. Yeah, definitely good job, Flames.
Oh man, DC's not even here to enjoy it right now.
I guess I'll just.
Well, I mean, he's got time. Evidently, it takes 2 hours to freaking buffer one video.
No shit, dude. What the hell is taking so long?
Or you have a slow internet connection. No, looks like it's taking
maybe. I mean, I got like 20 different tabs pulled up, but I still got like a 300 megabit per second. So it should,
I mean, mine's already buffered.
It's probably on my.
Wait. Let me see if I can. Let me see. Keep going. I'm gonna see if I can find exactly where the shit talking starts.
Oh, you actually you found it?
Yeah, we found
it. Yeah, we got it on the screen right here.
You at DC were sending dick pics. We found it.
Oh, fuck you guys! You guys found it.
Flames did.
We got it right here.
Wait, how the fuck did you? What? This isn't on YouTube?
No, yeah,
it's on BitChute.
This one, some of his videos were getting taken down, and we're all getting videos.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Am I right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you guys don't have my permission to play this.
Bro, you have your name as Latecoin Moses, and that's not Litecoin Moses.
Oh, really?
He's just started making fun of you for Latecoin Moses.
Videos, and if they delete enough, they just ban your account. So we're gonna hope that they stop acting terrible at some point, and then we could feel safe to upload there. Until then, we'll stream everywhere else. And
it's coming up.
We're just gonna keep streaming everywhere else, anyway. Because why not reach more people? And you know, why reward a company that's
DC, come on screen. What are you doing, bro?
YouTube.
Damn, Breach just like really called me out right here saying, "Damn, DC got fat."
Is your name Moses? Is that how you got the name?
No. I just got that because it was just some old little thread and stuff from like early 2017 when I was buying like Litecoin at the time. And I was telling people like this thing's gonna go to like $200-300 for sure, and then
yo, I was right. I was right.
You're guiding us through the fucking
oh god, he can't wait to just savage you.
I know.
He's getting so happy right now.
You didn't feel like changing your name after Charlie Lee dumped on your head?
Yeah, I told you it was after the dump, bro.
I mean, I wasn't really butthurt about it. I mean,
it's true.
You basically got a fucking knock on the door, like, hey, you need to fucking sell your shit on this point, or we're gonna come after you. And like,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
what
I don't think
happened.
that's how law enforcement works. I don't think they say you need to enrich yourself right now.
So,
You need to get paid right now, bro. I don't think that's
no,
what they do.
it's more like he's like like kind of get yourself off of this sort of thing. Because I heard the same thing about Dogecoin and stuff like.
I don't believe any of that shit.
I don't believe in that shit, bro.
Why is that fucker so salty now, though?
Oh, it's gonna give me a heart attack with my energy.
When people sell their bags, they get hateful, man, because they feel like they missed the boat, right? If somebody sells their bags and it keeps making new all-time highs, they just
That's
stay
why
like
DC still loves Litecoin.
So you'll see
Hasn't
that
sold
from Mike Hearn, who ejected, said it was a failed experiment. I think back at like 1100 or something. You see that a little bit from brown dude from South Africa that made Civic, Vinny
Brown dude from South Africa.
He called the top at like, I don't know, 680 or something. And then,
was he talking about was he talking about what's his name?
Oracle for
who at the show?
Vinny Lingham or something like that.
Yeah. Dude, I have not seen this in forever, man. Holy shit.
It's a fucking flashback. This is like a time capsule.
I know.
That's only a year or two old.
So yeah, bro, we got to get you back in your
When people sell their
weight.
bags, they get hateful. They get super hateful because they want to think they sold the top. And when it turns out that wasn't the top, man, they're just angry. I have a problem with Charlie Lee because he says stuff.
Yeah,
on
see,
Twitter
they already had their beef now.
I wonder if they said something in the background to each other. I mean, I bet they did.
No, he said on Twitter. The Twitter post had already gone out. Yeah.
We're adding confidential transactions to Litecoin. Price goes up.
Pause it for 1 second.
No one's even working on it. Okay, well that sounds.
Oh yeah. Sorry, let me.
Brad's just over there revelating this shit.
Bro, dude, I was working so much during this thing, dude. You guys don't know, understand how many days. I was working every fucking day I could, as many hours from the minute I would be waking up at 6 in the morning until it got dark outside, trying to get money to get into Hex. Dude, every fucking dime I could. Dude, look how skinny I was too. That's how much I was being worked to the bone.
That's how you knew his manual labor was going up and through the roof. He was out there in them fields doing work. Irrigation systems weren't making themselves.
Yeah.
Dude, wait.
Yeah, go ahead.
Are we able to? Because everybody's laughing over it, so it's hard to hear the conversation.
Oh, my bad. Can you guys send me the link? Can you guys send me this link too? I don't even know what.
It's in the. It should be in the private chat.
We put it in the private chat.
That's great.
Go ahead and post it again on YouTube for everyone too, Brad.
Yeah. April 7th, 2020. That was back in the Decentraland days.
Wait. April 7th, 2020, bro. This was right before the giant hex pump too. This was right before Godwell, because Godwell came in mid-April. This was days away from Godwell entering. So shit hadn't just taken off yet, bro. This is nuts. This is right before Godwell came in.
I don't want to hear this shit of me never not being an OG and me not representing.
Proof, damn it. Proof.
Because I remember you saying that you did a stream with him, and I was like, interesting. I never saw that on your channel, but same thing. I remember.
No, I remember. I remember back in Decentraland, there was because it was just at the time. This was during the early days where there was all the hate in the market from the lawyers and these speculators on crypto Twitter. And I remember in the Decentraland community, there was these it was a couple of people that were mad at DC and wouldn't have them on it. I don't know if you remember that. There was a couple of people that were they were mad or whatever because they didn't like Richard at the time. They were just hating. They were just hating at the time, basically, because you were trying to work with a couple people at the time, and they were they were just being haters. I remember.
Yeah, there's some Litecoin people. I had buddies in the Litecoin community that literally stopped talking to me, basically. Yeah. And from a bunch of different communities. It wasn't just Litecoin itself. It was basically it was some of my buddies or whoever, friendish people from 2017 that just lost radio contact. I was like, whoa, right after that and stuff. And I was I think at the time I was podcasting and stuff too and everything. And it's kind of crazy. I don't even think I had a YouTube channel at the time too. All I had was a podcast and stuff. And Fucking Max. This is back when DCC actually delivered podcast episodes.
Yeah,
I might bring those back, man. It's just like I'm doing.
Why not just add video to it? Like, to me, like, there's not much sense in just doing podcasts when you can just add video to it as well.
I mean, there is a difference though. Like when you're watch, like, if people don't know this, if they don't stream, if you're talking like this, you're a lot more fucking relaxed talking.
True.
There's this whole thing when you're streaming, right? You are, even though you're even if you don't care how you look, you do, because you actually are
consciously.
You're subconsciously holding yourself up like this because you want to be like, yeah, you guys, like, dude, I'm telling you, Bitcoin and like Hex and like, or like,
what are you talking about, bro? I got this sweet ass pimple right here that's fucking just growing a fucking gigantic head right now.
Yeah.
Don't look.
The funny part, I guess since their names aren't being specifically mentioned, so it's fine. But basically, those people that were hating at the time. So if you do a snapshot and you look at, it's like basically like, oh my god, can
you go to the price chart on April 7th real quick, Wasabi, for Hex, please?
Yeah.
Don't make me throw up.
Oh, bro.
Don't make me throw up,
bro.
It's right before the big ass pump.
I swear to God, it's like 7 days before Godwell entered.
Dude, yeah, no, it's like April 20th. I think it is like 420 or something like that, but right before the Godwell pumped, man. Yeah. What an intense day. Like 10,000 ETH market buy. The price never went back to that again.
I remember that day because the community just like was losing their goddamn minds. Like, holy fuck, we might actually be rich here, guys.
That's hilarious.
We might have actually done it.
Bro, like that video I did with like Richard too. I really remember that day because how fucking stressed I was. So me and Richard said, "How about this day?" We're like, "Yeah, that's perfect." Was it 5 or I think it was 5 or 6, and I had nothing planned on that day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just ended up getting this huge amount of work.
Oh, did I call it exactly? Is it the 14th of the bot?
The pump started on, well, basically it's the breakout just started on the 17th, and it was 18th, 19th, 20.
Bro, 10 days prior to this.
I just remember because this was at the time where
should have worked harder, DC.
Well, I just remember at the time this was back during, we were like in Decentraland, and there was so many people so jealous of DC at the time. So this is what happened, right?
Oh, like, my god.
They were trying to do these elitist things, I guess, in Decentraland, like community members. It was basically a tug of war to try to take over power of the community. And there was one group, which I'm not going to mention names, but they didn't invite DC because like he was making bad games.
I told you.
He was literally I remember DC was talking about it like when this was like going on,
a little bit sideways,
and then they got so jealous when this happened.
Dude, I had forgotten about that, but you're right. Yeah, they didn't invite me. They didn't invite me to those NFT groups. Yeah,
they didn't invite. And what's really funny is you look at what happens over the last year, and they're still where they are from back then, and then DC just like blasted off since then. So it's.
What was the price on the 7th, actually? What was actually the price?
On the 7th? It
was, let's see.
How many fractions of pennies so I can cry?
3 zeros at least.
Damn, this was at, wow.
What was it? Let's hear it.
See, 0.00. So it was 55 thousandths of a percent of a penny. Holy shit.
My god.
Yeah, 55 thousandths of a percent. 55 thousandths of a percent.
Those were the days.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
So since that stream that you had with Richard,
back when I still had the chance to become an Overwatch partners back in the day, and I just didn't execute enough.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Dollarcost, right, for being able to get those people that were in the NFT group that you mentioned, the Decentraland stuff like that. Like, shout out to the person that told the other person about Bitcoin when it was a fucking penny or $1, stuff like that. So it's cool to see that. Even though the response from the group wasn't as receptive as you would have liked, you were still on the right side of history, just like you've been with, you know, a lot of things. And, you know, time like that has proven itself to win over time, you know, so it's kind of cool to be on the right side of history. Because for me, I've been on the right side of history with like Hex and stuff like that in the past. But, you know, for someone like yourself to do that on multiple occasions is pretty rare, you know. So shout out to you for being able to kind of like stand your ground, put the flag in the sand or whatever the ground, while other people are like shit talking, you know.
Oh yeah, it was not like it was not easy to talk about Hex, dude. It was bad, dude. Like you literally, you were, it was like, wait, no, that's a bad example. I shouldn't say that one. Like it was bad. Like basically, you were like a shunned part of society. Like you talked about it in Litecoin, Bitcoin, like in NFTs, even in Manas. Like that shit's a scam, dude. Like what the fuck? Like don't talk about that shit here. Like everywhere I went, like everywhere, anywhere went. Like you were like ostracized for doing that shit. You know, I you know, yeah, go ahead.
And we didn't have the community backing back then either. Like,
yeah, it was very small.
It was very small, and like and we've talked about this before. Like, you guys, Discord, Seneca, and Hexa, like you guys were literally like streaming to like an audience of like 10 people. It's like, yeah, what's up, guys? Yeah. And then meanwhile, you're literally having to fend off like the entire like crypto space. So it's just, yeah, those were rough days. So like when that Godwell finally came through, it was just vindication for everyone, especially you guys that started off some of the first streaming.
It's because I think the Godwell pump pretty much made everyone profitable. I think even the day one people.
Yeah, even day one. Yeah.
Because that was the biggest thing. It's like, yeah, but even the people who bought on the first fucking day are down right now. That was the one we couldn't.
We had to hear that shit over and over again. Oh. It's just like, yeah. It's like, yeah, everyone blew their wad the first day, even though the founder told them not to do it. It's like,
I did it too. I mean, I can't even fucking like.
No. I mean, no, I'm not saying better. Yeah. Like I did it as well, but I mean, it's just the cards, right? Like when a project's 2 years delayed, like everyone's just like, fuck it. Because like me, I was just so excited because this was the first cryptocurrency that I actually got involved with that actually did shit. Like I was actually able to create a freaking CD ladder. Like it was amazing. And I remember the first day I was doing it, I was like, that's not enough coins. And I just kept throwing another ETH in there. I was like, after 8 ETH, I was like, okay, I can start my ladder with this. And then after that, I DCA'd out afterwards, of course. But like, of course, that first day it would have been much better to send that 8 Ethereum out for the rest of it. But man,
do you want to see something funny? Cool. Like, watch this. So my buddy, like me and Wasabi know this man. This man's called Wasabi. I mean, not Wasabi. Jesus. I'm sorry. All right, we know this guy named Anorak. Remember Wasabi Anorak, right?
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, he's really just to clarify on that. Anorak's awesome. He's not one of the people I was referring to earlier at all. Really good guy, but just to be very clear on that, he's really good.
He's an amazing dude. Like he's a good friend. But Anorak, so I had Anorak yesterday on my stream, and he mentioned he had. I don't know why he did this. He said he had circled on the price of Hex every time I told him to buy Hex.
I saw that.
He sent me the picture. Yes, he finally sent it to me.
That sounds like a sweet NFT,
bro. Look.
Oh my god,
dude. Jeez. Wow. I remember him saying that. I never saw the photo.
Wait, did he actually buy in on the green at least?
Yes, that's where he bought in on the dip.
I mean,
all the times I told him.
That's how you're a fucking true friend. When you could, because like I guarantee you, like I did about 3 to 4 for the people early on, and if he didn't buy after the 3rd or 4th time, I said fuck you and moved on. Like that is a good friend right there. Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12, 13 times before he finally bought on the 14th time, and the fact that he actually circled all this is amazing.
Dude, I couldn't believe it. Like I wish I forgot to show it on the stream yesterday, but that I was like, damn, bro.
Cool.
Fuck.
That should be an NFT. That should be made into an NFT.
You know what? Sure. You know what that NFT would look like for me? You know how many times DC told me to buy? I have no circles on that chart.
Thousands.
No.
Oh, he didn't tell you at all? I thought he told you.
We stream so many.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh, I'm about to say that. This guy.
Zero. he liked to interact
He
more.
was my podcast partner on my old on my podcast. Like we would podcast so much together and shit. There's no way I didn't mention Hex to him. Like it must have been like not 100 times.
No, I was familiar with Hex at the time. I was watching some of Richard's streams. Yeah, it wasn't until summer of 2020 where I got in for the first time, because I was like, I just saw the chart pattern. I was like, damn, that looks fucking sick. I was like, that's a sick chart pattern I'm seeing right there. And like it was the asymmetry of it. Like I knew there was a lot of negative stigma, and it was to me, the asymmetry was so ridiculous at the time. Like technically, even if you look at it now, it still is. Like there's a lot of people on it's kind of like I almost think of it as like the disbelief phase almost on crypto Twitter. Like they know it's there, but they haven't fully come to terms with it yet.
Well, shout out to people like Dollar Cost, and I think we've all done it with people in our onboarding times. But being able to, like he had mentioned, all those different circles were different outreaches that he had tried to get him to understand Hex or look a little bit deeper, right? And most people, they just look at the surface layer, right? Like a scratch off. They only look at the first few numbers, not the rest of the digits. So, shout out to people like Dollar Cost, and I think all of us, we've kind of experienced something similar, right? When trying to onboard someone, that sometimes you'll get, just like with any sell, like a little bit of rejection or pushback, but when you can kind of get someone on board after so many different touches or tries, I think that's definitely a commendable thing, and someone like Dollar Cost, like I've been following him for a while, and didn't always tune into the the Moon Gang stuff, but every now and then I'll tune into it, and he's like, Charlie's talking about, and same thing with the modern life dating guy, like, dude, Dollar Cost told me about Hex like such a long time ago, and it's like, man, shout out to him for at least being able to kind of stand, in front of the FUD and stuff like that, and be able to, tell them, hey, you guys are wrong, I'm right, type deal. So, even if they didn't listen to the advice back in the day, then at least you stood up and kind of did what was right for, what you had known and the research that you had done, because they know you definitely, pride yourself on a lot of the research that you've done, so definitely shout out to people like you, because that's pretty cool.
That's where I met Wasabi for the first time. I went on one of those Moon Gang streams, and they had a big panel, and DC wasn't even there that night. It was just like Charlie running the show, and it was like 6 or 7 people, and I think they were pretty much all Celsius people. And so Charlie sent out the link, and I was like fuck it, like I was feeling froggy that night, so I hopped on there, and I had Hexo's, let me see if I can even find it. I had Hexo's old Hex background. I had this, and I just hopped on to just a bunch of just Celsius fanboys, and it was just instant attack, and so it was just going back and forth and defending all the points, and it was fine. It was still early on. I wasn't able to articulate myself as well as I am now, but still was able to defend most of the points. And after a while, it was what was the one guy's name? DC. He kind of disappeared. The one that was him and I were going back and forth for a while. Ashar. God, I can't remember.
Oh, the dude from
what I'm talking about.
Yeah, Ashar. Well, yeah, the
Ashar is Ashar. Yeah,
Ashar or something. Yeah, he's the guy who worked at IBM.
Yeah, so him and I were going back and forth for a while, and he was trying to play up the use case narrative, which was really annoying. So was just playing it back with him with Bitcoin's just Bitcoin's except better store value. And it was funny because after a while I was just getting tired of it, because it was just the argument was just going in a circle, because he just kept bringing up the same shit that I already answered. So it was getting old. And then this voice of an angel in the top right corner was actually, and I was just and then Wasabi came into the defense of me and Hex. I was like, who is that? I did not expect out this entire Celsius panel to this guy just started backing me up on some of the Hex points. I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but I really like him right now. And after that was when I met Wasabi for the first time. And that started all that off.
You know what we should do for the next?
I have to go find that stream now.
Yeah, I think that's got to be somewhere in the archives.
Yeah,
I'll find it. I'll find it for you guys. You know what we should do for the next crypto mindset? The crypto mindset. Jesus Christ. The next nights of the crypto table. We should fucking just go through it and actually hear it. Review it. That'd be hella funny to see. Like,
oh my god, it'd be cringe on some of the stuff.
I know.
But yeah, it would be.
We were so bad. Like honestly, like even on that video from that I did with Richard, like I am not as good as I am now.
No,
I was so green, dude. So green even then. But that's
nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking the first time, bro.
Especially with Richard, man.
I was nervous, dude. I've never been nervous for an interview. That was the only one where I was nervous for ever.
Bro, I would die today trying to do a one-on-one interview with Richard. So like people like you and Hexo and stuff that have done it, like kudos to you. And you did it very early on when, like you said, when you're still very green. So that's really impressive. Really impressive.
Shahar, Shahar's not a bad dude. He's not a bad dude. He's just this is what it is.
Oh yeah. Like I didn't have any animosity to him. I just got tired of refuting the same points and over again. It wasn't going anywhere until finally Wasabi stepped in, and I was just like, "Who is this dude?" I was not expecting anyone to come to my aid or the defense of Hex on that stream at all, because back then Moon Gang was not very Hex friendly as we recall. So,
I have converted them all.
It took a lot of fucking time.
It was,
I was gonna say,
it actually kind of I know I was probably one of the first like Hexicans or like legitimate like Hexic Maxi or whatever at the time get on that stream, and
for sure.
Yeah, it definitely like started to snowball.
Dude, it's not easy to go into like enemy territory. Yeah, dude, exactly, and like
especially if you're a scammy piece of shit.
Like even if you do have like all the arguments on like Hex, like audited, no admin keys, it's never had it's always had 100% uptime, stuff like that. Like you mentioned, the one other time that I remember this was with like the Plan C guy. That guy, he had really done not that he had done his research, but he had kind of like left his mind open for some of the questions that he was asking. And when he was asking, I think it was like Dollarcost and maybe Wasabi, but when he was asking them about like, no, it was Motley and Wasabi that they were
it was just
asking
Wasabi.
about.
I think it was just a one-on-one with Wasabi and Plan C that day.
Either way, the guy was like open-minded enough to be like, wait, so the OA owns like 95% of it and there's only like 5% circulating? Like when you guys had talked about it, it was like, whoa, okay, like the guy was actually able to keep his mind open, as opposed to like, oh, Richard sucks, he's got a big ego over here. Like the guy was able to kind of separate the two and be able to listen to you guys. So I thought that was really cool, because most people, they don't take that time to like separate their bias,
It was it was fun because recently I hopped on Wasabi's stream when he had Plan C on again, and we started going in depth again on Hex. It was really cool because like I love Plan C. He's probably one of the smartest guys in the space for sure, and just a good dude. And he's very just by the numbers and everything. And man, I was selling my fucking pants off again on Hex with him. And like, I wish we had the green room recorded after we did that stream too, because like Wasabi could tell you, I was like fucking giving like the sales pitch of my soul on Hex on stream. Like I know he's so close to buying Hex. And I just want him to buy just a little bit of Hex and just stake it out. It's hard though, right? Because like we do become biased, and it's obvious. Like when you get your first like big hit and big success, it's hard to look into other stuff. So like Celsians that initially bought it in, like when Hex came out, it's like, oh, I have something that does this similar, but like this is where I made all my money. It's too in your head, you think it's too late. You're like, it's too late. I can't get that coin. Like I can't do that. And then when you realize, if you look into the coin and it actually the dynamics and the tokenomics of how it works, it still leaves meat on the bone regardless of when you enter. Like you really realize like, oh, it doesn't matter. Yes, I might not see the gains that the OGs are seeing right now, but 1, 2, 3 years down the road, I could be in the exact same spot they are today. And it's a beautiful, beautiful system.
Yeah.
Oh, did he improve his thumbnail? Look at that.
Well, no. So here's the thing. That was on the other guy's channel, and then I think it was Culture Critique said that Richard was live, but I don't see that he's live yet. So I see that he has this little thumbnail waiting, and then he's got it updated, but I don't see that it's live yet. So as soon as it does, we'll end the stream here and kind of just hang out in the green room if you guys
he's
want.
not live. He's not live.
Yeah.
No, he ain't.
Yeah, Children of the Grape, man. Fuck you. You know, saying that refresh brand. Come on, dude.
Brand was angry. He's like, "Fuck you, bro."
Hey, you know, I don't mind calling out another troll as
Fuck
a
you,
troll.
pussy.
And
Damn, fucking pure hate. I could feel that one in the tone of voice from Brad. Fucking sweet old Brad just said, "Fuck your shit."
I like calling out the trolls every now and then, only when I know that I'm right. But I don't see that he's live yet, you know.
Watch out,
You know what hurt my feelings earlier? Like fucking Bree fucking said like, "Damn, Miguel, you got hella fat."
I mean, hey,
I know.
You have. So
I know. And I'm losing it. I'm down 9 pounds today.
What's your current weight?
My current weight's like what is it? 5? I mean, did I say 5? 256.
Somewhere between 5 and 6 pounds.
256.
And goal weight is what? What are you trying to do? Like 220? 230?
Yeah, like 220. But it's not really about the goal. It's all about the look. But like
yeah.
I'm very comfortable with 200 pounds. But actually that's really funny. Actually, that right there was probably the skinniest I've been in probably like 4 or 5 years because in December I had hurt. I think I told Wasabi this and stuff because we were all hanging around Decentraland. Remember I told you I hurt my lower back really badly and I couldn't work out anymore. It was like during 2019 December. Like I like all of 2019 I was like me and my brother went to the gym every freaking day. Every day, and then he's live.
Bro,
yeah,
you were in shape
Richard's
on
live.
like one of the old streams I saw. I was like, damn. Yeah. I was like, DC was fucking. He was.
I was lifting weights
back
dude.
in the day. Yeah.
I wasn't doing 600 pounds anymore, but I was doing like I was doing like 5.
Anonymous, the hacker known as Anonymous here.
All right, so should we just end it, boys?
Yeah, let's end
it. Yeah.
Outro.
We're at 2 hours.
Outro.
Okay.
Outro, Brad. Outro.